So here I am today making my gluten-free chocolate chip cookies, and these are very good cookies. Just because they're gluten-free, don't let that fool you. They really are delicious. I've made them twice already, and my kids love them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a double batch, just because I know it's going to be gone probably in about 2 days. And this is not your typical gluten-free chocolate chip cookie where we have gluten-free flours or mixture of gluten-free flours, like rice flour, tapioca, and things like that. This recipe is actually using coconut flour. So that's the only flour we're going to be using. It's coconut flour, okay? We're also going to be using coconut oil. We have some maple syrup. This is organic maple syrup that I'm using, grade A. And we have some eggs. And you can see I have my chocolate chips here. I didn't have the chocolate chips, like in a bag. So I do have some chocolate, some baking chocolate, which is 60% cacao. So I decided to use that, which is great. I mean, it's not too sweet, and the kids loved it. But you can use whatever chocolate chips you like, all right? And I know it looks like it's a little bit of flour, but when you work with coconut flour a couple times, you'll be able to tell that you really don't need a lot. It goes a long way. And along with my maple syrup, I also have like a teaspoon of vanilla in there. Now, like I said, I'm doubling the recipe that I originally made, the original recipe, because I want to make more cookies because I know they're going to eat them all. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I have here in my bowl is my coconut flour, and I'm going to have the measurements down below the video of the original recipe, which makes about 12 cookies, okay, just regular size. But what I have here is my coconut flour, okay, and I have some salt, a little bit of salt in there as well. Now all we're going to do, this is really easy, all we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to add is my coconut oil, and the coconut oil has to be melted, okay? Coconut oil usually comes solid. This is extra virgin organic coconut oil. That's the one that you really want to use, okay? So there's my coconut oil. I'm now going to add my maple syrup. And keep in mind, this is going to be the only sweetener that we're using because there's no refined sugars in this recipe either. So that's really wonderful. And I think one of the things I like the most about this recipe is you can't really taste the maple syrup. You want to use the grade A. You don't want to use the really dark, very thick one because it's just going to be maybe too much. And you're not going to really taste the maple flour, okay? You're not at all. We're using it as a sweetener. Here are the eggs. And this is 4 eggs, 4 large eggs. Again, the recipe is being doubled. So your original recipe only calls for 2 eggs, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just mix all this together. Now, before you get all this mixed together, you want to make sure to have a baking sheet like this one. If you don't have one of these awesome baking mats, which are like, non-stick, you can use parchment paper or you can just spray your pan with some non-stick spray. But I happen to have this. This actually works really great. So just go ahead and mix all this together. And I know it looks like it's not going to come together. It looks like it's watery, but trust me, coconut flour really, a little bit goes a long way. So it may seem like it's not going to come together, but it will. The other thing I'm going to do once I make sure that this is all nicely incorporated, and the good thing is since there's no gluten in this flour, so you don't have to worry about over mixing it and are my cookies going to be tough. They're not, okay? See, it's already kind of coming together. Now you can add other things to this chocolate chip cookie if you want. You can add almonds or whatever other nuts you like. Or you can add whatever other thing, like dried fruit if you don't want to do the chocolate. or you can use white chocolate chips instead. So that's up to you. Okay, so you can see it's kind of coming together just like a regular cookie batter. Okay, so that's perfect. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add the chocolate chips. Actually, in my case, it's chocolate chunks. And it is a chocolate chip cookie, so you want to add enough chocolate chips in there. And you can always substitute the chocolate chips, like I said, and add, white chocolate or pecans, almonds, whatever your family likes best, or you can experiment. I'm actually wanting to experiment, and the next time I make them, I'm going to use some dried figs because they're delicious. Now, coconut flour has a lot of great, not only is it gluten-free, but it's a great source of protein. So you really, when you eat this cookie, you're going to feel pretty full once you have a couple of them, or even if you just want to eat one. So I want to show you, see, my batter has actually come together, okay? So it's just like a cookie dough batter. It's exactly the same. And the longer that you let it sit, the more the coconut flour is going to absorb all the liquid that we put in there. Okay, there's no baking soda in here either. So what's going to happen is when you put your cookies on the cookie sheet, you really want to make sure you flatten them down a little bit, because they're going to come out of the oven exactly looking mostly the same as when you put them on there, with the exception that the chocolate chips are going to, of course, be melted somewhat. So you want to shape them the way that you like them shaped. Okay, so if you want to press them down a little bit with your hand after you put them on the cookie sheet, so that they look like a regular chocolate chip cookie. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grab a spoon, and I'm going to start spooning them, putting them on my baking sheet. And so that's going to, and my oven has to be preheated. Your oven will have to be preheated at 350. Okay, so you're going to bake these about 10 to 12 minutes, and then just let them cool just for a few minutes, and then you can eat them. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my spoon so that we can go ahead and start putting these on the baking sheet. So here are my cookies already ready to be baked. They haven't been baked yet. So as you can see, I can fit about 12 of them, just like regular chocolate chip cookies, in one of these pans. And this is just half the batch because I doubled it. But what we're going to do is I want to show you the consistency of the dough, okay, so that you can see that you can actually pick it up in your hands, which is what I did. Okay, so you grab about a teaspoon, and you can actually form it in your hand. Okay, that's what I did. And then you just pat it down on the cookie sheet. I'll show you this one. I'll just put an extra one here. And just pat it down. So pretty much you have a regular sized cookie. If you want to make them bigger, you're welcome to. Just keep in mind you're going to have to bake them a little bit longer. But for me, I think these are the perfect size. Because if you go buy a little pack of cookies somewhere, you're going to more or less have this size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the oven now at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. And once they're ready, I'm going to bring them out and show you what they look like. So here are my gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. They're all ready. As you can see, they came out beautiful, and I've already tasted a couple, so they taste really good. They are very chocolatey, which, I mean, if you're into chocolate, this is definitely what you want to do. Now, for my taste, when I made them the first time, I thought, maybe I would, tone down the amount of chocolate, but really, everybody else loved them. I think it was just, maybe they're so rich that you probably are only going to have one or two and you're going to be satisfied, which is really a great trick too if you don't want to eat too many of these. And just keep in mind there's no refined sugars in these cookies. There's no gluten. There's not even any, baking powder, no leavening. So we have used some really great ingredients. And I just want to kind of show you the coconut flour that I use, that I actually bought online from this brand. It's called Viva Labs, and it's actually wonderful. I love it. My maple syrup, I get it at different places, but this last one I got at Trader Joe's, and I loved it as well. And then this is my coconut oil, which of course, if you know about coconut oil, it is solid until you melt it. Once you start melting it, then it becomes liquid, which is what you're gonna need for this recipe. And this one happens to be a really good brand, and I actually got it at Sam's. But I've gotten different types of coconut oils. They're all great. Just make sure you get the organic kind, extra virgin coconut oil. That's the one that you want to use. So anyways, I hope you guys give this recipe a try. I know you're going to love it, and just kind of, play around with it. Add other things if you like, or just keep them as they are. These will be gone probably tomorrow. So as soon as my kids get home from school, this will be kind of like, a nice treat for them, but I don't have to feel like, they're eating all this butter and refined sugar and things like that. And they really, really are very tasty, delicious. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try, and I'll see you next time.